Welcome back again. We're still right here on Pan-African Morning. Mbalula then also lashed out at the so-called RET, the Radical Economic Transformation function of the party. And of course, we are now sitting on the green couch with Mkmva.Carl Niehaus. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And it's a great pleasure to host you this morning. We want to hear it from you. Mbalula think that you are a thug. Are you a thug?
Well, good morning. I think the thug is the one who called other people thugs. I responded to Minister Mbalula simply because he was attacking his elders. He was attacking soldiers of Mkmva who fought for the liberation of this country. People who are twice his age, who could have been his parents.
Yes.
And he was calling them thugs.
Yes.
So what I said is, I would be derelict in my duties as a member of the NEC of Mkmva, and also as its national spokesperson, not to call him out for this. And then this whole strange avalanche of abuse came. So, you know, you look at this and you say, is this person normal?
Yeah.
Is he acting on the influence of some kind of substance, or what is going on?
Yeah.
That someone can behave in this manner when there is a reasonable request being put at his door. I know that the comrades of Mkmva in Gauteng had several times asked him to please engage about the issue of security for PRASA and specifically for Metro Rail.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. He says that he was dealing with corruption. I have no problem if the minister was dealing with corruption. But at the same time, the minister has to acknowledge that there's a Military Veterans Act which says that MK ex-veterans should be taken into consideration for preferential treatment and jobs in the instances where they have the ability to do so. And security is definitely one of those. So they made a reasonable request to the minister. They also made a very serious allegation against him, that he was allowing very valuable property in South Africa. That railway network, railway lines that were stolen, overhead electric pylons stolen. He was allowing it to happen because he caused a vacuum of no security through his actions. Instead of dealing with these serious issues, which were also raised in a letter on the 20th of August this year by staff in his own National Department of Transport, the minister decides to digress into the pigsty, throw mud, behave like a pig, instead of dealing with the real issues. Now, this is not the behavior of someone who's a competent person in one of our most important departments.
Now, Mr. Niehaus, he says that, I want to read this first. He says, I have great admiration for Mkmva, great admiration. What KB and Niehaus are doing is, in its name, will come to an end one day, and I have less respect for thugs masquerading as MK, period. I rest my case on Funayo Magez and Dikona, meaning that whoever who wants me, I am here. Is there a war within the ANC? Because this look like it's not just, you know...
Forgive me for laughing. Minister Mbalula is a young man compared to those who've been in Mkmva. What he knows about Mkmva is probably only what he read, if he does read in some books. Mkmva had fought a hard and long battle against apartheid. We made a contribution to the freedom of all the people of South Africa, including him. For him to abuse us when we raise legitimate issues, for him to abuse the president of Mkmva Military Veterans Association and make personal remarks about the fact that Comrade Kebi Mapatsu had lost his one arm is disgusting, it is despicable. And I will not take it. And none of the members of Mkmva should take it. And this is not factionalism. This is not an issue of breaking the ANC into bits and pieces. This is dealing with the wrong behavior of an individual.
Is it fair that you are all fighting through social media? Because I understand that the African National Congress have got spaces and relevant protocols in which you have to be addressing these issues. Probably he started it on social media, but is it okay that you are also responding to him on social media, expanding the fight or the fire further?
Well, look at the way that I responded compared to him. He responded on personal attacks and abuse. I responded on the basis of principle. So the principle is you don't do this to your elders. That's part of African culture. As part of the culture of the African National Congress, you deal with a structure such as Mkmva.Carl Military Veterans Association with respect. You engage with us. That's all I've said. I was not involved in mudslinging. I've not sung one bit of mud against Minister Mbalula, despite the fact that he's been provocative towards Mkmva and towards people like myself, Comrade Kebi Mapatsu, and, by the way, the Secretary General of the ANC, and somehow from somewhere, he even decides to pull in the public protector. Now, is that not factionalism? Isn't that something that the ANC should address? Yes, of course, I'm going to raise this issue within the structures of the African National Congress. Because after I've defended, quite rightly and quite correctly, defended the integrity of my organization, Mkmva, which is the only official structure representing Mkmva veterans, by the way, I will raise that issue internally within the structures, because I believe strongly that Minister Mbalula should be disciplined.
He says that the Mkmva members were looting PRASA. Is that the case?
Not at all. He complained about some contracts which he said were not correctly dealt with. I've got no problem with that. Let him suspend those contracts. Let him then make sure that there are immediately the proper security appointed. But don't be derelict. Don't allow literally millions of rands of hardware of the South African railways and of PRASA and Metro to be stolen, to be totally destroyed. You know, it is a disgusting sight when you go to Kliptown railway station.
Yes.
The whole place is destroyed. It happened under the watch of Minister Mbalula because there was a vacuum of no security. Am I and the Mkmva cadres of Gauteng wrong to raise that? Are we as taxpayers wrong to complain that tax money has been destroyed and valuable property of the government has been destroyed in this way?
The Mkmva wanted him arrested. Under what basis, if he has to or he must be arrested? You're going to say he's arrested for?
Well, I hear that there's a number of arrests taking place in South Africa on basis of oversight, of corruption, all of that.
Yeah.
So if a minister allows this kind of destruction of government property, he presides over it.
Yeah.
When his own staff write a letter signed by many of them to the President and to the Speaker of the National Assembly, complaining that this minister is derelict in his duties. I'm sure it's possible that he can be charged. In fact, Mkmva, Gauteng had successfully laid charges against the minister here in Gauteng. So yes, it is possible. But you see the problem that we have. There are certain people within government who think they're above the law, who say they fight corruption, but they themselves cannot be touched by the fight against corruption because they are selective, because they are factional, not because they want to fight corruption, but because they want to use corruption as a selective attack tool against certain people who they don't like in the ANC and whose policies they don't like. You saw this last week. Suddenly there's a warrant of arrest for the Secretary General of the ANC. The Secretary General of the ANC has to send his lawyers to say, please, I need to be treated with respect and within the parameters of the law. But there are others who can do like Mr. Mbalula does. There are others like the Deputy Minister of State Security, Mr. Zizi Kotwa, who has allegations against him. I don't hear that there's
Yeah.
pending warrant of arrest against those people.
Yeah.
So why this selectiveness?
Yes.
Please give us a fight against corruption on an even-handed basis, where corruption is the issue and not a person's political persuasion.
I'm just going to jump in there because I just want to, squeeze in one more question before we close. We're just running out of time. There is a large number of young people that we see on the Mkmva, and a lot of people are saying that it is kind of infiltrated by people that are probably not even, who have never been in any training for that matter. They just wear that uniform and they now also chant as Mkmva. Is that the case?
No, it's not the case. The members of Mkmva Military Veterans Association are older people, but you must remember that there were also very young people, people of the age of 13, 14, 15, 16, who were part of self-defense units right up to 1994. And some of them even beyond, because remember the violence ran right through the election campaign. Those comrades were part of the structures and the whole process of MK. So if you look at them at the age of 16, they will still be relatively young. But you're quite correct that no person can claim to be a member of Mkmva after the disbandment of MK in 1993, December 1993.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Niehaus. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. We've just run out of time, but I think that probably on Sunday we can get into this long conversation and just maybe get more on this with Sifisa.
Well, I hope we'll be able to talk then about other things and not about the unbecoming, silly behavior of a minister who's out of his depth.
No, for sure. We'll talk about many other things, but thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. That was Carl Niehaus. Of course, whatever that he said, these are his views and his opinion. I'm sure they do not represent Galaxy Universal Network, but those are views of what he believes they are. So now we have reached, of course, the end of our programming. We thank you so much for being with us. We want to thank you, our beautiful viewer at home, for taking your time to be with us from 6 o'clock until this time. Please do join us again tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on Galaxy Universal Network, channel 500. Igama lami SISANDA Mkmva.Carl Ntombazane yaphansi kwamhlabi yalingana ngophuza ngiphuzukelekela inkomo zakithi ngayishiya zidla phansi emahlathini asekubandeni ke kanti ke zona siphuze ebhodlweni umfulo ohamba ngeslow motion kwesikwazibi isigodi kulangibuya khona ke kwangwanase kwesenkosi umabhudu kwangwanase ke ngathola amabamba ami ngabhekisa egoli kwandonga ziyaduma kwanyama kayipheli kuphela amazinga endoda. Until next time, Africa, it's a goodbye from me.